Hello and welcome back to the GameShow Global Esports Cup here on GameShow_D2EN_2. I'm Grant Sveen. I'll be your caster for game number 3, IG versus FTD, Club A. As far as those scheduling issues, there is a little bit of a conflict because that second game went so darn long. That was an awesome show of force by the end of it. Invictus Gaming just couldn't close it out, even though they got that 2 racks advantage very early on in the game. Every single Roche, or at least the vast majority of them, went towards FTD, if not every single one of them. And it was a stupid amount of Roshans by the end of that game. So many cheeses, so many Aegises, and in the end, it's going to be for the Dream to be able to capitalize on one dieback on the bristleback, one dieback on the gyrocopter, and the game's just over from there. And that's really what it comes down to when you're an hour and 44 minutes in the game. But already, we're underway into the draft for game number 3. The series is tied 1-1, as both of these teams are fighting for that slot in Vilnius for the LAN event in Lithuania at the end of the month. It's going to be a Templar Assassin Ember of Spirit ban in the second stage following the Queen of Pain Clockwork opening from IG. And then for FTD, it's going to be a Night Stalker Lina Gyrocopter. We saw how powerful the vision of the Night Stalker was throughout that game at keeping map control up, and it's something that Invictus Gaming were very good at doing in game number 1. They had wards everywhere. They spotted out every single one of the rotations coming out from For the Dream and had everything on lockdown. Game number 1 was a commanding victory coming up from IG, but by now it's more than 3 hours ago. My goodness. Yeah, I still just can't get over how long game number 2 was. That was a lot of fun. Now, the Gyrocopter for FTD, they have a lot of early fighting potential. A lot of early aggression can come out from them. The rocket barrage damage, the rotations around from the Night Stalker and Lina's full kit are going to give them a lot of potential to take these early fights. IG no such as either. The Clockwork in game number 1 was very well played. It just fell off at, what was it, like an hour into the game at that point, or 90 minutes maybe. A better spot where the Clockwork couldn't commit or else he just explodes. But for the vast amount of the early game, the Clockwork's initiations were on point, and now they have a Rubik for Chuan. Ooh, signature heroes coming out across the board for Invictus Gaming. It looks like we're finally going to see a Queen of Pain in mid for Ferrari. Most of the mid heroes for both sides have been pretty interesting. Against the Templar Assassin, we've seen a Juggernaut and a Bristleback. But this game, Templar Assassin's banned, and I don't think FTD are going to go for anything as unconventional for their mid lane matchup against the Quab. Now, with the Shadow Fiend, TA, Ember Spirit all being banned out and Queen of Pain picked up by IG, those are your big 4 mid laners that you'll be looking for most of the time. So maybe they'll bump this Lina into the core role. We saw how potent she was with items. Granted, not until the very end of the game, but that double Laguna Blade secures the victory for FTD. And if they're able to get that Aghanim Scepter online quicker, Rubik, the Queen of Pain, really just don't have enough HP to deal with that raw amount of Magic Burst and Pure Burst once you get the Ags. Now for FTD, this is going to be an interesting pick for them. It's going to be the Tusk. Maybe not so interesting. Tusk is something we've seen a lot, and you're going to see more of him. He offers so much utility to the team and fits that aggressive playstyle that FTD are trying to foster with this draft. Now for the 4th pick of Invictus Gaming, we're probably going to want to see something with a good amount of follow-up to the Clockwork initiation, to the Rubik setup too. Something like a Skywrath Mage would not be bad here for IG. The only downside of the Sky is he is incredibly squishy and might end up just being food to FTD. But something along the lines of the Skywrath. Really, the best support pick here, I'd say, for IG would have been the Lina, but that's already in the hands of FTD. They are going to settle on the Skywrath. Alrighty then. Now, I wonder if this is going to be a Chuan Rubik after all. He might just take the Sky. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who ends up playing which hero. But the upside, although granted the Skywrath Mage is going to be very squishy, is still there. And it's very strong for IG. Long duration silence against the Tusk, against Selena, going to be very potent. And more than anything, a raw amount of burst damage from IG. Both the Queen of Pain and the Skywrath Mage bring that, and then some, to the table. The last ban out coming out from FTD kind of feels like IG are lacking the physical damage output, and from their last pick, something like a Juggernaut wouldn't be bad. Want to say for IG combos well with the Rubik and Skywrath Mage in lane is a combination that could very easily get them early kills. But instead it's going to be a ban on the Spectre. You do definitely need to respect IG's usage of that hero, and something to very easily follow up after Clockwork finds the initiation. Clockwork might look like he's alone on the map, but with the quick blink in by the Queen of Pain, with the reality in from the Spectre, there's so many ways for him to get on top of it. But oh, Alchemist! He's going to rear his ugly head. Invictus Gaming do have a lot of burst, and that does make this Alchemist pick a little bit less attractive. The Silence from the Skywrath Mage also can make the Alchemist stun himself. Are they going to be able to shut down his farm, though? I'm not so sure. And honestly, I don't think so. So how are IG going to react to this? Taking it late against a Gyrocopter Alchemist core feels very risky. And maybe even go for something like, although it's not going to be very conventional, a Death Prophet could be interesting for IG here. Just a core to group up with them and take down tower after tower. The counterpush coming out from FTD is pretty good. You have a lot of mediocre counterpush spells that come together to make a good amount of counterpush. You have the Ice Shards, you have the Dragon Slave, and you have the Acid Spray. They probably will shy away from a unit-based push, but I do want a carry that's going to be a little bit more on the aggressive side. And maybe that is the Juggernaut that I was talking about earlier in the draft for IG, or maybe they have something else in mind altogether. There's a chance they pick up a different mid lane hero to go up against the Alchemist, something like an Ursa. Ursa, it looks like he'd just get kited around too much, but has a good lane matchup against the Alchemist. Instead, it's going to be a Clinks. Alright, Clinks, I didn't talk about the hero, but he fits all of the roles that I was looking for, and then some. High amount of damage, high amount of tower pushing power, high amount of DPS onto this Alchemist. Even if Alch gets super stacked, IG have heroes that are very good at dealing with Alchemists, even with items, and Chuan is going to be taking up the Rubik. It's so hard to pass up the Rubik when you have so many sexy items for him. He's actually just a brick of gold walking out to lane. And I suppose this is time to introduce all of our matchups here. That's going to leave Super on the Skywrath. Luo is going to be playing on the Clockwork this time around. Queen of Pain by Ferrari. And last but certainly not least, there'll be Rabbit playing on the Clinks. For the Radiant side, it's going to be XTT making a return performance on the Night Stalker. Did a lot of work in game number 2. And for the rest of the FTD lineup, I'm so sorry, I cannot pronounce any of their names. Blame my stupid American tongue. But even though I won't be able to introduce their player names, the Gyrocopter is going to be the safe lane farming core supported by the Lina and the Night Stalker, it seems. Alchemist will be going mid, and Tusk will be heading towards the off lane. Although there is always the potential that Night Stalker and Tusk switch these roles, their item builds are very interchangeable. The bigger thing right now is that they get a successful D-Ward and give it to the Alchemist, no less. Easy 56 gold. Slightly more efficient for him to pick that up than the rest of the team, so why not? The bigger thing is getting this rune, and it looks like they're going to be able to collect it uncontested. I really like the IG lineup, though. It feels like FTD, although they have a lot of late game potential. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to tap into it with how aggressive IG are going to be able to play, and especially on super comfortable heroes. Ferrari's Queen of Pain, Chuan's Rubik. This is about as comfortable as it gets. And they're going to be heading out to lane. Rubik with the boots first. And Queen of Pain is going to be going up against the Alchemist. Alch will get a little bit of support from the Lina. And even though this is a bad lane for the Alchemist when it comes to CSing against the Queen, he's not going to be shut down or even close to that because of how this hero works. And if they're able to secure the bounty runes, they're able to secure the stacks, you're A-okay. And I think they should be able to do that. But down towards bottom lane. Super's going to make his way down here on the Skywrath and just make a nuisance of himself. The Gyrocopter is going to take a lot of arcane bolts. It's not like the Skywrath Mage is needed top, or even all that useful top. The lane's going to push in, and Tusk's going to get a good Ice Shards. But the tower aggro's not going to the Clinks. He would have been able to de-aggro that anyway. Turns to fight with the Searing Arrows. Only level 1 Clinks is going to get snowballed in. Can he actually get this kill? He doesn't have a Mango. Does have a Clarity. Taking up that Clarity going to be cancelled by Chuan. And with that, they're not going to be able to get that kill. The Lina and the Skywrath Mage going to be trading blows on the southern side of this map. Skywrath Mage will be pinged, and that's about all that's going to happen. Everything has kind of slowed down a little bit. The killing potential isolated in these lanes is very low, but it looks like IG are getting the better exchange across the board, especially with this clockwork. Lilo is getting a lot of space, but Skywrath Mage maybe bumping into a little bit of trouble. Void was thrown, Light Strike Array was held. The damage after those spells is thrown is probably not enough. Both level 1 on the Lina and the Night Stalker with no boots on either of them. Chasing after that Skywrath can be very difficult. 325 movement speed. Granted, he doesn't have any armor and is very, very squishy, but let's see if these runes are going to shake things up. Haste Rune for the clockwork. Usually you'd say that's really important for you, but he doesn't have battery assault. Maybe it's still enough to isolate the Lina. Maybe it's still enough to get this kill. Maybe I'm underestimating how powerful it really is, but yeah, if this clockwork was level 3 or 4, you might have looked for first blood off of that haste. Alchemist actually CSing very well against the Queen. Has his boots, bottle, everything he could want. Under tower again, the Clinks is going to take a lot of damage. Level 3, hasn't invested his last skill point, could always go invis, and there's nothing the Tusk could do about it. There's no reason for the Clinks to skill up that point, even though it might seem a little bit odd. If he's left alone, if the Tusk starts roaming around, you might just get that early point in strafe, get a lot of damage onto the tower. Clockwork is going to go ahead and interrupt the pull to the best of his ability. Flare, nice, 2 CS for him, and Lua is now level 3. His killing potential increases a lot now that he has this battery assault online, but it's still not a huge amount. This early game, I don't think it massively favors either side, even though For the Dream do have, in theory, an incredibly potent late game, and this Alchemist is getting a lot of farm, and the Gyrocopter also is doing just fine for himself. It's the calm before the storm. The mid-game for IG is really where they start kicking into high gear. Once you have the ultimates up for the Clockwork and the Queen of Pain, maybe level 6 on Clockwork, level 8 in the Queen of Pain before they really start getting aggressive, and once you have that first major item on the Clinks. You know, as level 4, so he can get a point of peace into Strafe and into his Ghost Walk. Skeleton Walk, rather? Not Ghosts. But bottom lane, they're going to get the Light Strike to connect onto Luo with the Rocket Barrage damage. This is going to be your first blood. Cogs are going to suck in the 2 enemy heroes. And he's going to get right-clicked to death by the Gyrocopter. Overstepping his bounds ever so slightly. And that's all it takes to lose your life in these lanes. Despite having a better early start, Alchemist in mid, dropping very low, drops the Concoction, but dies to the dagger just the same. And Ferrari is going to find a solo kill. Without ultimate. That's very impressive. Yeah, Alchemist just sticking around a little too greedily. And had that salve, but couldn't pop it off because of the Shadow Strike. Still, as I was saying earlier, the Tusk, despite not having as great a start as the Clockwork, is getting a little bit more experience now. Left 1v1 versus the Clinks. But he's not getting any farm. 22 and 9. There's nothing he can really do about this. This Rabbit's getting a lot of time. The Ice Shards are available, but again, no dust and no allies here, no killing potential for the Tusk. Chuan, smoking for a deep ward. He's going to ward out the large camp, which hasn't been stacked at all for the Alchemist, and that is something that's missing from For the Dream and their side. Another camp blocked out. Don't give Alchemist any camps. I wouldn't be surprised if Chuan blocks that one, and he will. Smoke for the triple block. How awesome would it be if there's an announcer pack for wards? He just got a triple ward. How cool is that? Bottom lane, mass TPs. Queen of Pain's going to drop the Sonic Wave. Clips onto the Lina. And with the flare, Lina's going to fall. The Gyrocopter does have a lot of damage. They need to respect this Rocket Barrage, but now silenced up. He's in a lot of trouble. Can they get in range for the Telekinesis? Fade Bolt is there. Another Arcane Bolts, and the double bolts are going to be lethal. With the Golden Telekinesis, they'll lift Night Stalker back into the cogs. 3 kills for the side of IG in this bottom lane. I don't think you expected anything else from a Queen of Pain rotation this early on. It's so much damage. This does come at the cost of some free farming space for the Alchemist, but I think that's a price that IG are more than willing to pay, because this Alchemist, even if he is at the top of the net worth chart, he's not right now. Queen of Pain, after getting those kill involvements, getting 2 for himself, is not going to be getting that much. But top lane, ooh, they'll kill off the Clinks. Good rotation in from the Night Stalker. The Clinks has really been flirting with death against the Tusk a lot, and now that they bring in Dust, now that he brings in a Buddy, it's going to be a pretty easy kill. Pulling off the creep aggro. Tron is going to find a little bit more space in mid as he starts leveling up, but yeah. Fight down the bottom lane, going well for IG. 1 pick off on the Clinks up top is the trade for the Dream. Very, very close early game. Very close. But with all of these camps blocked, Alchemist's comeback potential is very low if they're able to kill him off again. They have no Sonic Wave for 50. The Queen Pane's going to blink in. They'll lift him back up, silence him. The Alchemist has no real way to get out of this alive, I want to say. And there is no potential for a deny. That concoction just wasn't fast enough incoming. Killing spree for Ferrari. After getting a solo kill on the Alchemist and now getting a little bit of help from his allies to kill him off again, the Alchemist, in comparison to the Queen of Pain, is having a much worse time. Not necessarily in net worth. If we take a look at that, it is very close. But in his ability to contribute to the rest of his team, he's actually gone for a fighting build on the Alch. Something we're seeing more and more teams go for after the big craze of Radiance, Manta-style, Octarine. He might still go for the Radiance, Manta-style, Octarine, but at least is going to try to weather the storm by being able to contribute to some of these early engagements. They know he at least has 1 point concoction. They can infer that he has a second one. And with that information, IG need to be less scared of this Alch exploding when it comes to his net worth. Even with the Queen of Pain is fine for IG. Bottom lane, call down under the clock or a couple of right clicks. Luo is going to fall. Gyrocopter is going to snag it with one more flat cannon shot. And this Clockwork is dying quite a bit. All he wants right now is his level 6, though. He's getting so close to it. He has the Earnest Shadows completed and Tranquil Boots. Should you want to pick them up? So once he has this level 6, is going to be just as potent, even if he didn't die a couple of times. The Tusk, despite getting a little bit more, is not getting substantially more. And the power of Walrus Punch compared to Hookshot is really not even close when it comes to the leap in power that you get. The initiation range from Hookshot is just unmatched for other ultimates, really. It's a different tool entirely. Tusks is more focused on going for those solo pickups, getting the damage to kill off the likes of the Skyroth, the likes of the Rubik. Skyroth especially with zero-based armor, that Walrus Punch is going to hit hard. But the Clockwork can set up things on the Alchemist, and now the Clinks is also going to be invading his woods. Has the Aquila, has the Soul Ring up and running, and now he's going to eat the Centaur. Kill the little one, munch the big one, and now no camp for the Alchemist. At least not until 9 minutes in. I think the Sentry Ward will expire by then. I wouldn't be opposed to them blocking out the camps another time, though. Alchemist just now getting back to farming up that large camp. This is one of the slowest farmed Alchemists you're going to see for a while. Lina, bottom lane, excuse me, is going to get killed off by the Clinks. A little bit of help from the Clockwork. They don't even need to use Hookshot for that one. And now Queen of Pain's around the corner. Smoked up. The Gyrocopter is very susceptible to dying here if he shows his face. The Dart team don't know 100% where he is. Chuan, hunting with the smoke. Smoke is not going to pop. And he can't walk closer to the tower, else it's going to pop there. They see the Gyrocopter now. Telekinesis up, pulled back into the Queen of Pain, and Gyro's down. Sonic Wave! And with just a little bit more damage, Queen of Pain, one more right click is going to do it, dominating for Ferrari. 7-3. This is a much different playstyle that we're seeing from IG, from games 1, 2, and now moving on into the third. They're still grouping up and looking for these objectives, but much more pickoff oriented and much more aggressive rotations coming out from the Queen of Pain, but not necessarily the cost of Ferrari's farm. He's still doing fine. An Alchemist in a good game now would be at least sitting on twice as much gold in the bank towards having that Sacred Relic. And probably, if he's untouched and if he hasn't died twice, the Alchemist would be getting close to having that relic. But a maxed out concoction build from the Alchemist, he kind of wants to be involved in these fights, but at the same time, not really. I don't know, it feels like this Alchemist just isn't having this game go in such a way that he feels comfortable enough to go for the mass farming build. All of his camps have been blocked out and are still blocked out. That large camp is still taken out by an Observer Ward, and now Clinks around the corner is going to be spotted by Sentry. Snowball there. They knew he would be hunting, and now with that maxed out concoction, are going to be able to secure the kill onto the Clinks. One more smack, and Alchemist is going to be able to kill him off. Popping the haste rate, Alchemist is walled up by those ice shards, thrown out by Chuan, but Chuan's right in the middle of a Gyrocopter and his call down Rocket Barrage, which is not somewhere that any support, let alone a Rubik with very low amounts of HP, wants to be in. But Clockwork wants to be in this mess. They have the Mystic Force silence. The Mystic Force is a little bit off the mark, so down in the right-hand corner, the Night Stalker is going to be able to avoid a lot of that damage and will survive. Void onto the Skyrath, and then Rocket Barrage again, going to demolish another support. IG lose 3. And don't really get anything exchanged. That's nothing but a win for the Dream. The Queen of Pain's pushing in mid a little bit, but not enough to where they can even call that space created or something like that. Ooh, 6-7. Kill score is very even. Net worth graph, very even. Experience graph, slightly in the advantage of IG, but still within the realm of being called very even. The only reason why I'd say IG were favored going into those fights was because of the momentum that they were getting and because of how they're able to posture on the map. But it feels like FTD are now getting back more space and out gonna go for a mechanism. This is a very throwback build. Something you'd see IG do quite often, actually. Clinks is deep behind enemy lines. Can't find a kill here. And maybe in some trouble. The sentry ward is going to be around the corner. It looks like Clinks just wants to scout out the jungle stacking situation, and I think they know. Lean's going to ping behind here. Clinks, maybe he's able to get the career snipe? No, they're playing it very defensively, keeping it inside the trees. And Clinks is going to be just fine, but over inside the right-hand side of the woods, the Gyrocopter Nutstalker not so much. Should have seen that one coming. And IG are going to come away with a couple of kills. 6 to 9. The Clinks is going to start aggressively roaming, and even without a damage arm can do a lot of DPS. Rubik is going to place the sentry in the camp, and D-Ward with one fell swoop. They know where the sentry is, they have a great idea of what they're trying to do to this Alchemist, and it's working. Alchemist is going for a not very conventional build. This mechanism is going to allow him to fight, and they want to do just that. The Concoction Stun, the Warrior's Punch, and they're going to be able to bring down Ferrari. The damage to the lean to follow up is more than enough. But this is not the traditional way you're going to see Alchemist try to accelerate himself. Whether you go for Radiance, whether you go for Mech, whether you go for a super farming or fighting build on the Alchemist, you need to get ahead. And right now he only has a narrow advantage for the net worth lead. And when you have this low amount of stats on the Alchemist, that's just not enough. They'll snowball forward, not going to reach. On to Super. The Skyros will make it down towards the north and Chuan to the south. But the Concoction still flies. And they have a Aura's Punch meeting him too. He'll telekinesis him up. Rocket Barrage, almost enough. Chuan can get out of here. Neutral Die, not going to happen. Not with the Ice Shards coming out from the Tusk. Clinks is around the corner. It looks like he wants to fight. But should he? I don't know. It feels like the Clinks is losing a lot of momentum from the high ground. Is going to try to kill off the Lina. 2 shots. Not enough to pop the mech. And Lina is in no real peril. It got close. Just shy of the damage output. They'll drop the acid spray down the tower, and FTD are grouping up. This is maybe not what IG expected coming out from the draft. Still a very even game, but FTD are the ones to go more aggressively for the objectives, but IG are still vying for control over the Let's take a look at their wards. They're going to spot rotations around this area, and they also have sentries in all of the camps that they don't have wards down in. My goodness. Now, they want to make sure this Alchemist doesn't farm, but Alchemist is going to make a pretty wise decision in grouping up with his team and fighting in this fashion. Now smoked up, they're going to catch Luo. Clockwork was walking up the high ground, is going to be obliterated as he's met by 5 heroes, and now the rest of the team not out of the woods yet. The Ice Shards aren't going to wall them off. The Skywrath buys a little bit more space. The Telekinesis up on the Night Stalker, looking for the turn there. Mystic Flare again isn't going to be super effective, but they still have, excuse me, damage from the Clinks. They are going to drop them all low. The Skywrath Mage killed off Lacuna Blade into the Clinks. Rocket Barrage is there. 2 for 3 is the exchange. And that Gyrocopter again showing the power of the call down Rocket Barrage. So much damage from that hero. Mechanism still unused. So that fight, maybe that extends the life of the Tuscan Night Stalker a little bit. They know rather not super, Ferrari's around the corner. But the Queen of Pain will be able to blink out just fine. 11 to 11. This is a lot more exciting than I thought it would be when it comes to the action, the rotation around the maps. After such a long, drawn-out game number 2 and such a commanding lead from IG, game number 3 is looking really close to even, and a lot of the advantage in how this is going to be distributed is going to be based on the smoke rotations and based on the wards. One smoke picked up by Lina, one smoke picked up by Chuan, and it looks like it's going to be IG to make that first rotation, but not too much faster in FTD. Alchemist is going to farm up a little bit in the stack, and then group up with the rest of the team. Ready to go. Wonder what the Alchemist is going to build next. I think we're going to have to hold that thought as both the teams are going to clash on the high ground. They both smoke into each other. The defensive snowball is there, and the call down is going to destroy IG. Mystic Flare split between way too many heroes, and XTT not in a lot of trouble here. The Tusk does not have an Ice Shards for a while. The Skywrath Mage is going to make it out towards the right-hand side for a little bit longer, but with the nighttime vision of the NS, they know exactly where he is, and he's coming in hot. He's going to drop the concussive shot. XTT is going to be repelled. Does he really want to dive this tier 1 tower? I don't think so. And for the Dream, are going to be happy that they get 2 pickoffs. Queen of Pain blinks that down to the south. And now we'll TP. But mid lane, the Clinks looking for the tier 1 tower. Not going to get denied out by the Night Stalker. 2 kills going the way of For the Dream, but the tier 1 tower falling in favor of IG might tip the scales in their favor. It's always so very interesting to see these smokes that end up where both teams know exactly where the enemy side is at the same time. One of the big advantages, though, is having the Night Stalker and being able to consistently chase. Both of them clash right here as their smokes pop almost simultaneously. Bottom lane, TPing in. The Skywrath Mage wants to combo with the Clockwork. The combos have not been clean yet, but it's still enough to kill out the Alchemist, and they spot him out the ward. Clockwork, are you going to make that go? There creeps around the corner. Alchemist is backing off. He throws the flare. He's going to catch eyes on the Alchemist in just a second, and he does do that now. Hookshot in. Max range on the Alchemist. Do they have the damage? Here comes Night Stalker. Mystic Flare is there, but he's mostly out-sustaining through it. He doesn't have the mech. Can he live? And it looks like he will. Oh my goodness. Such a close call for him. Also close is the Lina as she's forced to TP out. Double damage. Klink's doing a lot of damage to this tier 1 tower, but not lethal. Yeah, my goodness. That mechanism on the Alchemist is paying off for him and then some. Going for the BKB. This is pure fighting build from FTD's Alch. And it's working for them. At least for now. It gets a lot scary as the game progresses late, but top lane, they're going to go look for the snowball in. Only the Tusk is going in, but they catch the Klinks. They know that he's been stunned. They pop 2 Tusks. Doesn't matter. Got the kill. And they're going to be able to bring that kill for the Tusk. This Klinks, it feels like he's getting very over-aggressive on the map. 2-4-1. I don't think he's playing poorly, per se. He's just being counterplayed by FTD very well. They seem to be one step ahead of him every time he roams around, especially the Tusk. And now Tusk has a Glimmer Cape. Looks like he originally thought he might be going for the mech, but the Alchemist had different ideas. You know, just having the address as a casual item is hardly a bad thing at all for the team. I don't think it's going to be relevant, but if there's ever like a 1 HP survival situation or very low HP survival, we can say the mechanism was a super value item. They'll take down the tier 1 tower up in the top lane. That's going to follow the gyrocopters. Clockwork again might be looking for this Alchemist. But I think IG are focusing, maybe way too much on this Alch. I mean, maybe there's not another way to put it. They're applying so much pressure onto the jungle, and Alchemist is just like, look, you can have my woods. I have BKB mech. I'm fighting with the team. It doesn't really matter. I'm still the top net worth in this game, despite you trying to stop that so aggressively. And the gyrocopter is fighting while the Tusk is getting his items, and the Klinks just hasn't had the impact that they really need it to. 11-15. IG, by no means are out of this game, but it's a significant advantage for the Dream. 5,000 net worth in their favor, and about 2,000 experience. When you do group up this aggressively, and when you do group up this much, it does come at the cost of a little bit of your XP. Smoke up from For the Dream. Are they going to go for Roshan? They definitely can take it. Will IG scout it? I think they will. They have flares in the Clockwork, and they'll probably need a pickup before this happens, but oh, that pickup might be walking into them now. Super. Skywrath is going to be... oh? Maybe okay. Snowballing forward. I could have spoke too soon. Hookshot in. Still the magic nuke damage on the Skywrath is pretty huge. Laguna Blade's going to be thrown inside the cogs. Chuan and Luo are dropping so low with the Sonic Wave. They'll finally bring down the Tusk, but at the cost of the Klink's life too. Triple kill for the Gyrocopter and GG. Wow. I did not expect them to call it, but the game plan for IG did not work out. That was a really nice decision. The decision of the Alchemist to go for the battle build, not try to greed it up, not try to go for that Radiance that's ever so popular, is really what pulled it through for FTD. IG were losing the fights. They knew that they were losing momentum, and they just felt that they couldn't bring this back, and I don't really blame them when your Klinks goes 2-5-1 and isn't finding any farm and any momentum. This is not the last game, but FTD are on the brink of eliminating IG from the tournament. The GameShow Global Esports Cup, whoever wins this series moves on to Vilnius, and FTD are one game away from it. I've been granted to see, after such a long game number 2, a 20-minute victory for the Dream. And the Dream is really real for them. Let's see if they can make it happen. We'll be back here in a minute with game number 4 coming up next.